Good evening. Oh, good afternoon. This is Susannah Azzaro, yoga instructor and meditation instructor.
Teacher,
And
instructor.
and I'm Sanna energy psychology practitioner. So we're here today to talk to you about accessing inner wisdom. It's and I thought it was a really timely discussion for us to have. Interestingly enough, a few weeks ago, maybe last week, I put a post on Facebook about just needing to reset myself a little bit. And because I was feeling a little uneasy about some things and frustrated. And I made a comment about it, and I got a lot of support of people who are also feeling the same. And somebody suggested that I do a course, a class, something. And so Susanna and I just happened to be chatting one day and decided that, yes, we are going to offer an incredible opportunity to our listeners. Today is kind of an introduction to accessing our inner wisdom, and then we have a surprise for you towards the end of this experience here. So, so I guess with these uncertain times right now, there's a lot of anxiety and worry and fear. Uh, about the uncertainty. And I guess what I always say is, when we're in our routines of everyday life, we're actually in a bit of a slumber, and because we get programmed by our habits, so we're not aware. We think we know what is going to be happening down the pike, but now, since we've all been kind of awakened, we know that we don't know. And it's really,
Hmm.
and that in and of itself can, create some anxiety and worry on top of, everything else that's happening.
Hmm. I wonder, just as you were saying that, I wondered, this, is about accessing inner knowing. And I wonder if it's those very uncertain situations that kind of knock us out of our slumber and help us start to tune in because we're kind of on autopilot. And so we don't know, like a lot of the inner knowing for me comes through my body.
Mhm.
And sometimes, you know, going out of my routine makes me more alert to the things around me. And,
Right.
I don't know, it's just a thought that popped up when you were saying that.
Well, if you think about when you get up in the morning and you have this movement through your routine. Maybe you go to the bathroom, get your coffee, um, get put some clothes on, move about for a bit, and then you have a routine. But if you have guests that come over, or maybe you move and you're in a different space or a hotel, there's more of an awareness of the change in your environment, and
Hmm.
how are you going to navigate what's happening, in how you're going to navigate yourself in in the environment.
Yeah.
So what's happened today is our world has gotten smaller,
Hmm.
and um, we're not accustomed to having outside controls put on us in this way, even if it's for our own good, so to speak.
Yes.
So, um, so Susanna and I thought that we could offer something to who our listeners and Facebook friends and clients and whomever yogis, to so that we can kind of learn how to, that when we have these problems and these struggles, that there is a um, there's a way to access inner strength inner wisdom, a knowing, so that you can allow it to kind of take you on a path to resolve what you can and what you have control over. It kind of reminds me, and I wrote this down, I have it right here, a quote by Rumi, which is one of my new favorites. It says, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. And I mean, who was that? Gandhi that said, "Be the change that you want." So um, I always find it fascinating that we believe that worry, racing mind, or panic is going to help us find solutions.
Mhm.
But there are no solutions because that mindset is what creates the internal experience of the problem, the struggle. Anyway, so if you want to create change in your life, you have to create a different mind. And what that means is your attitudes, how you image it, perceptions, beliefs
Mhm.
that impact how the body functions. So,
Yeah, I used to think because we were talking a little bit before that, Sanna, you have memories of, really connecting with your inner knowing at a young age. And I know I did too. Um, but I didn't know that I knew. And I actually, as I got older, I felt like, oh, this is stuff for, this is just something you're born with, a gift, and you either have it or you don't. And as I've gotten older, I've realized, no, this is embedded in everyone. We,
it is definitely, we all have the capacity, but I agree. When I was a child, I my intuition and my connection to this deep knowing, started to reveal itself. And back in the day, there wasn't the language to for me to even describe it to somebody. So that also said that there wasn't any external frame of reference for
Mhm.
someone to say to me, Sana, that's not right, or let's see what we can do.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I'll never forget. It was Christmas morning, and this was what, 72. So I got up out of bed and I ran downstairs. It was Christmas and everybody's there. I said, Dad, I said, did Roberto Clemente die? He looked at me like, what are you talking about? And just yelled. I mean, and 4 days later, he died. I mean, I had a dream as well as this powerful premonition that said that he was going to pass. So you might think, when you talk about accessing deep mind and so forth, that it's a little hokey, or that, geez, I don't want to go there. But the truth is, the subconscious mind is drives 95% of our lives. Everything that you do your is located in the subconscious mind. Your entire life, the life of your ancestors, and also like the collective consciousness of the world. Okay, and that's a term that Jung coined. So the collective consciousness is not about ego or my life experiences. It's an evolution that occurred through time. So there's universal tenets and knowledge and just basic understandings about living, or universal truths in the subconscious. And we've all had that experience where we connect in with it. I mean, we call it inner wisdom, we call it, deep intelligence or knowledge, nudges, intuition. So we have this sense about it. But, has anyone ever told you, trust your gut?
Mhm.
Okay, and you sit there and you're kind of waiting. It's like it ain't talking. It's not talking. What's the problem? So, what we're going to do is to teach you how you can access. You don't have to wait in order to get the information that you want.
Hmm. Yeah, I do. I find that it's like a muscle you build. It's like your subconscious needs validation that you're there for yourself, and that when you do get hits or intuitions, that yeah, you can pat your like I knew that, and with the little things is kind of how I play around with it. I find that it's like I'll get a yes or a no, or I'll feel an expansion or a contraction, or I'll
Right.
feel hot or cold. And, just with the little things in my life.
Well, and that's a really good place to practice and to
Hmm.
tune with yourself because so often with the bigger stuff, we dismiss it or we get afraid of it or
Hmm.
wonder, why we can't get connected to it. So it can be very confusing because
Hmm.
as I was growing up, and I'm sure I've shared in the past that I had dreams, premonitions, and other things that occurred before my mom's sudden death. So when she died, I thought that I had in some way had a hand in contributing to her death. Now, again, who would I tell that to back in the day? And I've
Hmm.
heard time and time again from clients who are now adults who were children who said, I had visions of the deceased. I had, my dad who died when I was 5, would visit me in dreams, or they would have, intuitions. And it almost kind of became a curse, like it did for me, because I couldn't tell what was real or what was an intuition. So,
Hmm.
um, so if you just take a second and think about a problem that you have, something that you're struggling with, not maybe not something that's huge, but something you're angry about or that is bothersome right now.
Hmm.
So as you do that, what you notice, if you sit with it long enough, you're going to notice tension. You're going to notice like language, racing thoughts. You're going to have maybe a couple different kinds of emotions and sensations in the body, and maybe even changes in posture. So um, so when you have this experience, it kind of becomes packaged. Okay, it
Yes.
has the same mind and same patterning that hold the struggle in place. So if
Hmm.
you want to create change, you have to go beneath the habit of how we mind things because we get programmed first by your family, we get programmed by school, society, our churches, the media, the government, and um, so it's easy to how we mind ourselves becomes a habit, and so I always encourage people to do like an inquiry or an exam. Well, what do you believe about this problem? And
Right.
when you apply some of the things that we're going to be talking about uh, next week,
Yes.
it's really surprising how the problem within that is knowledge and wisdom and
Yes.
information. And there's
Yes.
so many ways to access it.
Right, exactly. And that whole, calming this nervous system down is so key. Calming the
Well,
racing mind.
yeah, and that's so important. I'm so glad you brought that up because if you're stressed, see this intuitive system
Hmm.
shuts down because
Yes.
stress hormones and what's happening in the vagus nerve and how it's communicating to the brain. Because if I'm so if I'm it's like sitting in my family room and I'm constantly worried, okay, if my and this actually happens quite a bit. Like if a figure walks by
Mm-hmm.
enough that I can't make it out,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in a stressed state, I'm going to distort that information. But if I'm calm, my system will be able to tell me if I need to take an action because how my neighbor walks across the yard, I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly his movement, his posture, and how he moves. So I don't even have to look up really
Yes, yes,
because
right.
I'm reading my book or whatever I'm doing, and there's a safety or there's a knowing.
Yes. And
Okay.
and also I find it interesting just the different ways that people can know that that knowing comes through, and it's not always the same way for everyone. Like,
Well, and that's why that's why we're doing this course,
mm-hmm,
these four classes, and we'll explain that in a few minutes here, because we're going to do lots of different things so that you can discover how you experience it.
mm-hmm,
Some people see images, they have very vivid dreams, or they feel energy. Okay, or there's literally a physical, like a kinesthetic, very visceral response, or
mm-hmm.
they hear language or words.
Yes.
Okay, and it's very soft. It can be just like a little whisper. But if my head is loud, keep in mind when my mind is racing and there's so much negativity and so much worry, that worry will attach itself to whatever's happening with that my neighbor walking across the backyard.
Yeah. Yes. And you'll
Because
make a story about it, and then off
exactly.
you go.
Yeah. Um, so stress is a big part of tuning into yourself. So
Mhm.
what we're going to teach you how to first create this calm that will naturally take you into those places where you go naturally every day, at least in the morning when you're kind of dozing, and
Mhm.
also at night when you're drifting off. So we take
Yes.
you here because that's where healing occurs. That's where this knowledge resides.
Yes.
That's where we can touch in, and you can do it on purpose, deliberately. You don't have to wait. You don't have to
Exactly.
hope that it comes.
Yeah, it's there.
It is. It's a capacity that we all have and can tune into.
Yes, I agree. That has
Yeah,
been true for me too.
yeah. So Susanna and I are going to be doing a class, and let me get this here. It's going to be on Zoom, and I'm going to post the link as soon as we hang up here so that you can sign up and then get the information. Now, here's the really cool thing. Okay, Susanna and I talked, you and I talked, and we
Mhm.
decided to offer this as a contribution to help others. And we know that we can be really helpful to teach you some simple, practical things that you can apply, that you're going to actually experience and apply in the class,
Mhm.
and um, so that you can do it and apply it in your everyday life as
Yeah,
well.
you don't need to take a 10-week course that, it it's it's super super simple things that you can apply immediately.
Yeah. So the four classes, and I'm going to post a link so that you can register. So the first one is I'm going to teach you a simple way to use EFT to clear your mind clutter, and also that will lead you to insight and like maybe a resolution. I'm not sure, but you'll have some insight in terms of what your next step is. Okay, the next class, it will be learning self hypnosis. Now, again, you put yourself in a trance every day, every
Mhm.
day. We do. So it's not a foreign place. It's how we go from higher like brainwave states to those deeper levels of mind is through breath work by drifting off to sleep, by daydreaming. If you can daydream, you can learn how to very deliberately reprogram your mind about whatever it is that you're struggling with. Okay. Yeah. The next piece I always love doing ancestral work, but we will be honoring the lives of our ancestors through visualization and how you can access inner wisdom from them. Because everything that they went through, everything that what they survived, their wisdoms, what they learned, uh, lives within us, and that's a part of that collective that we're going to tap in with. And that there's a really cool thing that I always do myself, as well as teach my clients that I'll be teaching too. And Suzanne, Susanna, I'll let you talk about the meditation aspect.
The meditation part that I'll be facilitating is going to be just giving you a simple framework for structuring your time when you're sitting quietly. When I started meditating, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought, oh, I'll just sit here and close my eyes and it'll be fine. And I couldn't stand it. I didn't know. I thought, what am I doing here? And I also had the thought that my mind was supposed to go blank, and that was the last thing it was doing. It
Mhm.
was not going blank at all. And so I'm going to talk to you about the true nature of the mind. These are things I learned in my yoga teacher training through the Himalayan.
Mhm.
And then talk to you about the framework that I learned that helped. It's super simple, that helped structure it sort of gave me edges and boundaries for my practice. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sharing that with you, and we're going to be practicing it.
Well, and the thing is what we talked about is that not everybody has an hour.
Exactly.
If you
It's
have 3 minutes, 5 minutes, um, we're all killing time in lots of different ways, even if it's browsing Facebook. Uh,
exactly.
when you start putting these simple tools, and even within these 4 classes, we're going to be doing breath work and showing you how to calm your body, and so you're gonna walk away because I am all about the tools, and you
Yes.
facilitating your own change. So the classes start next Wednesday, July 29th. It's from 7 to 8:15 on Zoom, but you have to register. And there is limited space, and I already have quite a few folks that have signed up. But I'm gonna post it on my Facebook page, and Susanna will too.
Mhm.
And you'll be taken to a page that is a landing page where you can sign up, and then we will be in contact. Now, here's the thing. Even though each class builds upon the next or leads you to greater confidence as well as being able to access and dive in quickly, I mean, because I know you and me, I mean, we can go there like that
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
uh, what was my point? So you can attend one class, two, three, or four. They will not be recorded. However, well, I don't think, I mean, I guess we could, but you don't have to commit to all 4 classes, although we would love for you to attend. We will continue to, put some information out there, and we'd love to hear from you.
We hope to see you there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
It'll
it'll
be a
be
great way to connect kind of as a community of like-minded people.
exactly right. And you're gonna feel better after each class.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think I wish I knew how to create this allow comments.
I know we can't see
Yeah.
see anyone's comments.
I'm going to call them tomorrow and ask because I think I do it and then it doesn't work. So anyway, thank you all very much for
Thank
listening.
you.
If you have any questions, you can contact me through Messenger and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you all.
Thank
I'm
you.
Sanna, I'm Sanna Carpellotti,
And I'm
and this,
Susannah Azzaro.
thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.